in India. So had been fortunate to have the association with this approach called SALT 5 years ago, with Ritu and then Prabhakar facilitating the sessions for us. So we implemented this process with a group of sex workers in an organization called Care India. So since then, it has been a very encouraging process for personally for me and then professionally also. Basically, I come with a background of masters in social work. So I have been in this development sector for about almost for since 1995, which is almost to about 21 to 22 years. So my work started with the women and children in the slums, and then later on we moved to work with the adolescents, and then I joined specifically to work with the HIV/AIDS in the year 2003. So, so since then, my work is to help the state government, especially to provide technical guidance to implement this HIV prevention programs with the most at risk population. And then almost 6 years, 9 years have passed supporting the government, and then in 2009 I joined Care India. So when I joined Care India, so Care India used to implement a project called Saksham. So that specific purpose of that project is to strengthen the community organizations, community-based organizations. So when I mean community-based organization, a group of sex workers coming together and forming an organization. And so our work revolves around strengthening the group, strengthening the systems related to the organizing meetings, and then ensuring there are proper systems in place for conducting meetings or financial systems, things like that. So it's more of an organization development thing. So then we got introduced to this Ritu and then Prabhakar through a common friend, and then we were right away we were very much interested in getting this process rolled out, because personally, I mean, in many project managements, we continue to focus on problems, issues, concerns a lot, and then always speaking about the weaknesses and things like that. But when we got to know this approach, so it's so interesting that you never focus on the concerns, problems, you never discuss about all those things. So it's so appreciative. The process itself is so appreciative. I mean, we really thought it is interesting, and then we tried this with a group of sex workers in the in India. There's nobody that can come from outside to solve your problems. You have so many strengths. You can solve your own problems, and then so the only thing that you need to do is share your experience and learn from each other, and then implement whatever you learn from your friends or your colleagues into your own life, and then keep going. So that's what all SALT is about. I mean, and then never try to get engrossed into the weaknesses or problems. So it's always the problems, and then all these are part of life, but we can overcome only with our strengths. So, and then we by learning from others. So that process we have applied with this group for about 3 months, and then afterwards it continued. The process continued themselves personally and then professionally also. So the small training which we began with the help of Ritu and then Prabhakar has gone a long way in terms of building their skills, in terms of helping their fellow community to organize themselves, and then also solve their own problems by appreciating each other's life. So that project really helped in building nearly I mean almost 40 to 50 community-based organizations in the in the entire state of Andhra Pradesh. So they started resolving their own problems. They started coming together to advocate with the government to solve their problems, for their rights, for their social entitlements, and then coming together as a big group to let the people know that we are a strong force, and then we need some identity. And there's nothing wrong that we are doing. We are into this profession because of several other reasons. Could be because of poverty, or because of exploitation of the men, and then because of the demand in the society for this trade. So there's nothing wrong that they should be put into bars and all that. So the process really helped them to negotiate with the government to get a lot of social entitlements, and also sort out some severe issues that they face with the police. Actually, whenever the police can easily misguide them or ill treat them, by booking false cases and all that. When they are together, when they learn, when they come to know, by sharing of their experiences, that they also get to know about the legal rights also. We have an act called Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act, the ITPA Act. So that act is misused to book false cases against these women and all that. So as a group of sex workers, they fought together, and then really ensured that the police, they even gone to the extent of filing case against the police. So so they have evolved themselves as a strong group in the entire process. So that was really encouraging. And then as a fellow community, they have many of them have raised funds to help the positive sex workers within the group, and then also educate their children, and then also encourage them to use the uh, uh, take treatment from the government, which is available free of cost. So all the whatever the services are available to the government, so they started gathering the various services available from the government, and then link the people who require those services with the services. So the entire process, I mean, they learned that they learned that we need not have a lot of money to really work in the field. What all they require is some time to come together, share their experiences, learn from each other, and then go on to work with the government. So I think it was a beautiful experience, altogether professionally. um, the only challenge that we had was, I mean, when the government these days, not only the government, any donor is does not have do not have patience, or they bombard with the numbers altogether. They chase the numbers. It's all becoming numbers. You need to achieve so many in so much time, so many referrals, so many so much deliverable within such a so much period and all that. So but this approach requires a lot of patience, because and you need to observe, facilitate the process. But the long term results are rich. So people wait for those resources, and then also the human resources to facilitate this process also are very limited. I mean, people when people expect quick results, what do they do? I mean, they chase the numbers. So that's what is happening. I mean, so when you are given freedom to implement this process with the long term goals, so this really works. And then what we require is a patience, and then manpower to facilitate this approach. So that is in brief about how this can be, how this worked professionally, and then how this can be implemented in the future also. Personally, also it really helped a lot. I mean, uh, see in a patriarchal society like India, we never appreciate the contribution of a woman in our families. We take them for granted. I mean, so you never appreciate their work, their contribution in the entire family. So so that I have realized. I mean, not that we purposely do it. Sometimes we ignore it because of the way we were brought up. Because of the way we were brought up. So we were brought up in a strong patriarchal family, and then we try to imbibe whatever we learned within the family. Father, we observe our father, how he treats his mother, and then the same way we try to ape those qualities and all that. But I mean, and though you learn that it's not supposed to be done, but we never try to encourage that process, appreciate the contribution of life partners in our life. So but with this process, although we are working in the development sector and know the importance of women in our family, but what we miss to do is we never appreciate them. That's one thing that I realized within my personal life also. So then when I started appreciating her strengths and all that, and then so, the reciprocation, the happiness that she gets by simple appreciation of their contribution is immense in improving the quality of life within the family also. When you learn it, and afterwards you continue to do that, continue to implement that, and then even when you try to deviate, this approach always hurts you. I mean, oh, there is an approach called salt, I should never deviate from that approach. I should continue to appreciate their strengths, their contribution, and then help them to uh, help them to feel good and then be happy. So it's always there, I never forget. Even in terms of I'm leading a team within another, now I have joined in another organization called Sati. So I am leading a small group of team to implement again another project for prevention of mother to child transmission in India. Eliminate pediatric HIV transmission in India. So what we do is, when we manage the group of people also, I always try to keep these principles in mind. So never get bogged down by the challenges, the weaknesses within the team. So always encourage them, appreciate them, motivate them, learn from each other, and then share the good practices within them, share the strengths, and then also learn from each other, and then adopt to their life, and then keep growing personally and then professionally. So I mean, it's really encouraging in terms of managing teams also. The process itself is really helpful in managing a big team also. I mean, if you have these principles, and then if you try to adapt and then implement these process, you'll always you know it's a smooth process to manage the teams. So now it is in the roots and blood, I would say. The process is in the roots. I mean, you could never forget about it in spite of several challenges that you come across in life. If you know this, then you will never get bogged down about this problem.